Hey y'all, I hope everybody had a great weekend. I slept mine away. Yes, I did. Um, let me adjust this. I don't like the angle. Yeah. Hang on. Why? Oh, good lord, woman. Alright, here we go. I think that's better. Hey. Hi. Okay, so today's Tuesday. Yesterday. Holy. I went in at 4 and I got off at 3. And it wasn't a bad day. It was just like, I know there's a night pour tonight. What is my dispatch doing? Why is he holding me so fucking long? Anyway, he sent me to this job. At the end of the day, hey, let me take this out because he's got me coming in at 4. So I'm going to take me an extra long bath as soon as I get done with this video. Got me a cocktail today because, yeah, went in at 1:30. Got done at 12, a little after 12. And when I got in this morning, I was the 12th load. So it wasn't too bad. I was like at the very end of the lineup. And they ended up having to move the pump so much that I think he realized, he was like, I didn't really need to bring her in that early, did I? Anyway, so he got me off a little early today, and my hours since I got my raise have been considerably shorter. However, I can't bet my rent on having any kind of life outside of my job right now. It's like, is there a consistency to this? Am I gonna be doing these nights, but I'm only gonna be doing 10 and a half, 11 hours every day, and then having anywhere from 12 to 14 hours off, so I can plan my life, what's going on. Because, I got a text message that Misfit number 3 got let go. His driving record was too bad. I had to ask. I was like, why'd they let him go? Did they have a drug test or something? He failed it or something? They're like, no, his driving record. The insurance dropped him. And I was like, well, that sucks. Because he was an okay guy to work with. Anyway, and I was kind of his human alarm clock. He lives way out, like, in the country. And he was worried about not waking up. So he'd go home right after work. He'd do his dinner. He'd take a shower. Take care of himself in that regard. Take care of his dogs. Do what he needed to do. But then, as soon as he got done with dinner and everything cleaned up and the dogs settled in, he would jump in his truck and he'd head over to work, and he would literally sleep in the parking lot. Because he was afraid he wasn't going to wake up. And if he did wake up, he wasn't going to wake up in enough time to get to the job. So, there was that. So yeah, when I'd pull up, I can lock my truck up by the door and it just goes click. Or I can, what the fuck is that? Do I got concrete in my hair? What is that? It's glowing in the camera, but I can't see it. What is that? Right there. Wow, it is barely visible. It's concrete. It's barely visible, like here to here. But turn it and it's like, boink. Wow. yeah, we're gonna soak these tonight. Anyway, oh, so today was not too bad. He's got me running up north in the morning. He's like, I called him. I was like, he only had dude listed, and I was like, I got done at like 12, and I rushed out of there because you lectured me that one day. I need you in at midnight or whatever, and I was like, well, you didn't fucking tell us, so yeah, there's that. So if I'd known I wasn't coming in until 4, I would have gone over to Harbor Freight and bought the jackhammer today. But right now, because of the time, I ain't going out in this traffic. 2 o'clock? Yeah. 10 minutes to 2. Fuck that. I ain't dealing with these fucking crazy people. I had to deal with crazy people on my way home at fucking noon. What was going on? Oh, yeah. A motorcycle. Some lady almost took him out. Yeah. And he was over, like, in the median, trying to avoid getting hit by her. He caught up to her, said something to her, and then she followed him somewhere. He was pissed. I was like, oh, God, someone's going to get... So I'm trying to catch up to him. I was like, I got the bikes back on this one. Sorry, lady, you're fucked. But yeah, they pulled off. I was sitting there watching that car drive behind him, and I was like, she is way too fucking close. What the hell is going on? Anyway, I wasn't about to follow them off the highway. I'm like, we ain't going there today. I'm going home. So, yeah, hopefully the car learned its lesson. Hopefully the motorcycle learned its lesson. Motorcycle needs a little bit more. Well, I let him get in front of me because I was like, oh, wow. Oh, okay. You stay right there. And I was like, go. Go, crotch rocket, go. Anyway, this morning on my way to work, or on my way to the other plant, I was already clocked in my mixer. I'm looking at my rear view, and I'm like, oh my God, who is that? That fucking light is bright. It's got to be a Jeep being an asshole, or that's an Indian. Yeah, it was a fucking Indian. I was like, man, is that my light that bright? Fuck. Man, I am one rude bitch, because I am always riding with my bright on. Anyway. So we pulled up the turn where the other motorcycle just a little while ago almost got taken out. He's over here in the inside lane, and I toot, and I was like, now I know what my bright light looks like. He just looks up. I said, I got a chieftain. I said, I was looking in the rear view, and I was like, that's either a Jeep being an asshole, or that's a fucking Indian. And sure enough, there you are. He just started laughing. He goes, yeah, they are pretty intense. I said, oh my God. I said, if you could only see what I saw. I was like, I don't see that when I'm on mine, and we just chuckled, and then the light turned green, and, off to work I went. And so, yeah, we had a big slab pour. They had a pump. They had to move it a couple times. Dispatch is like, yeah, I'm not going to bring you in that early. You just, I don't know. It doesn't matter what time he brings me in. It's like, I've gotten to a point where it's like, I don't care. I'm going to work the hours that you need me to work. And if you don't need me, don't sit there and make me sit for hours on end. If you don't fucking need my ass, send my ass home. Save yourself some payroll. I think he's figured it out. If he needs me 16 hours, I'm going to run the fucking 16 hours. I'm not going to care if it's a once in a while thing, right? He brings me in at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I end up working until fucking 6 o'clock at night. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Given that it's, intense. It's like non-fucking stop. He doesn't send me somewhere where it's hinky. I'm like, where I'm not sliding off a cliff or anything, but if it's like turn and burns, like curb jobs and, stuff like that, I don't mind being there working the fucking hours. Just work me. Otherwise, send my motherfucking ass home. I would rather go home and talk to this, or drink a cocktail, play games on my phone, mow the grass, sit and do nothing, watch a movie on my phone, something other than just sit there in the parking lot and collect a paycheck. My sanity is more important to me than my paycheck. But he realizes that if he puts me on a certain job, he knows I'm going to do that fucking job. So yesterday, he took me off the bridge because it was done. I did the bridge today. Tomorrow I'm doing the bridge tomorrow. Whatever. We got this great big bypass in this gargantuan fucking bridge that is crossing a gorge. A bypass that is going to connect, if I'm not mistaken, what is that fucking route? 141. So, instead of traffic going from wherever, Carthage and Hartsville or Lafayette, taking all the way in to Hartsville to catch 141, that goes out of town and comes right into Lebanon, right in downtown. Instead of all of that traffic that's north of Hartsville or east of Hartsville, having to go all the way into town to catch that, they're making a bypass connect and a bridge, so they can take a left and shoot out and catch 141 without having to go all the way into town and dealing with all the, the congestion of downtown. That, which I think is brilliant. That connection is also, they are also expanding that connection, if I'm not mistaken. There's a secondary bypass that's being constructed off of 10 that is going to connect to Alexandria. There's on I-40, there's an exit, Alexandria exit. That left, it goes for a little bit, but then it stops and it bends around. And if I'm not mistaken, they are connecting the 1025 junction. They're cutting through there, and they're going to connect that. So people who are in Lafayette, they can just cruise down 10 and jump on to 40 and grab Alexandria, as opposed to going all the way down 25 into Carthage, through Carthage, almost to damn Gordonsville, and then catching 40 to go into Nashville. So they're building these bypasses. That's what we're doing. And they've also got a pipeline going in for natural gas. So that's basically what we've been really busy with the industrial stuff. The area today that we worked on was actually a huge pasture at one point, and now they're building a Target there. The apartments and the gas station that was across the street, they've been there about 4 years now. When I started this job, that was all cow fields. Just woods, grass, lots of fucking grass. Subdivision that's like 2 miles from here, where the house blew up, that both sides of the road now have houses on it. big, huge subdivision type of thing. Oh yeah, that was all cow field. Cow pasture. It's houses now. And in-ground pools. My region of the planet has not been violated yet. It's kind of like there's this like invisible marking line. Anything south of that or north of that, no. So I'm still not in city limits. This is all acreage. This is a subdivision, but it's not in town. Now, they might designate it. However, if they do that, they're going to piss off a lot of these people that own like 10, 15 acres that are around this subdivision. That's rural. They got farmland, you know. They got cows and shit out there. Anyway, yeah, we're this rinky-dink little fucking subdivision out in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, we've been pretty busy with some of this bigger stuff going on. It's always one right after another. Excuse me, I just ate and I got my cocktail going on. Let's see. So working the slab and then working the bridge. So he said, just come in at 4:30, head up there, and I need you on the bridge work. One, because you know where it's at. Two, it's going to be turn and burn all day long. You know, they're wanting to get this stuff done. I was like, all right, no worries. And it's a pump. It's like boring. I sit there and play games, video games on my phone all day long, and watch Y-Files, the 24-hour thing. What else we got going on? Oh, we got the warehouses. The walls are up, so now they're doing the tie-ins on the inside. The footing area, backfill is what I call it. And then we got that one, and then we got tilt-ups coming up on another warehouse. We've got two warehouses going in the same time. They're right next to each other. And they're huge. And then, what was that other one we were working on? Oh, we're doing all the paving and stuff for the one that we already finished. And I think we're done. No, we're not. No, we're not. We got itty bitty, like, onesie twosie shit going on at this other job. It's like, y'all, fucking one section at a time. Yeah, and now we're going to be bouncing all over the fucking place. Filling in holes. And that other job. The one where the guy got arrested. Anyway, and ICE came in. Them. Anyway, so... fucking drama. What was the other thing that was going on? Oh, the one he sent me to yesterday. This is... I have got a gripe. I got a gripe about this particular job. I'm going to put it in a different video because it needs to be its own video. But line pump mix. I can't. I've gotta. I gotta put my thoughts together in its entirety. But anyway, just basically, line pump mix is not for the novice. Period. It is not for a rookie driver. It is not for a rookie finisher. It is not for a rookie pump operator. It is not for a rookie. The pump operators, typically, they get a particular line pump mix, depending on the size of the hose. And it is a finicky fucking mix. And I don't know if I ever uploaded this video, but there was a big go around in circles me and the chemist, and I talked to him about this today. I was like, these nut jobs. He's like, oh shit. I said, remember that time you called me? He's like, yeah. I said, remember that job? He's like, yeah. I said, remember how much water I put in it? He said, yeah. I said, now, yesterday, they wanted me to pump out a 4-inch slump up 350 feet uphill. He was like, it's impossible. I said, that's the point. He's like, how much water did you have to add? I said, I didn't. I splashed it the whole fucking time I was pouring it out. He's like, how much did you use this? 70 gallons. He's like, you're kidding. I said, it wasn't even mixed in. It was just splashed as it was rolling out. Just to keep it flowing. He's like, no kidding. I said, yeah. And that's what I was doing that one day with that one. He said, and you put 50 gallons in a 5-yard load. I said, yeah, basically. Splashing it. And I had to, because they kept fucking stopping. He's like, oh shit. I said, that's why. I said, if they just fucking, and they pumped it and I could hold it at a 1.2 flow to their chug, I would not have to add a fucking stitch of water. The problem is they stop. And once you stop with line pump mix, it goes just like that. He's like, oh yeah. I said, well, that customer also tried to skate the fucking pump too. He's like, no kidding. I was like, yeah, call him, ask him. They tried to get a free pump. Yeah, they were blaming everybody except themselves for this. It didn't finish right because it got away from them because they didn't have it wet enough. That was the problem. And they weren't working with it fast enough. That was the problem. Line pump mix. There is very rare. But mostly it is for areas where you cannot get a Georgia buggy. Bobcats are completely ridiculous trying to use one to do whatever job. Like I was out in the middle of Hendersonville and these people were on the water and we were in the backyard on a line pump and they had the line pump going all the way down to the water, and what they were doing was a bunch of steps. And what they did was they had all the hoses set up because they were disconnecting as they came up the hill. So what they did was at the very bottom, we were pouring it out little on fit a 5. That's tight for line pump mix. And they did a little bit and then they disconnect the hose and they just leave the hose there. And then they had a garden hose all the way down to the bottom, and they would literally take the hose, put it into the actual form, spray out the hose so that whatever was in the hose, keep it clean. Because what they were going to do was reconnect the hoses, and then I was going to wet it up. And then they were going to just pour, after they did all the bulkheads of all these steps all the way up, then we were going to pour it on like a 7. Yep. And they had 2 guys taking care of the hoses, and they had 2 guys taking care of, that. And that job I was done in about 30 minutes. And by the time they got about 2/3 of the way up, that's when I ran out. And they had to call in another truck. Once they started on that other one, they could just keep it wet and then do the patio that connected to all these steps that they were working on. So we were sitting in the form out, basically. And then once they got close enough and they could pull the pump back, the truck could do 4 chutes and finish up the rest and then do the patio, and we were done out of there. There's a method to the madness, but when you're dealing with line pump mix, It is not for the faint of heart. You cannot just think, oh yeah, we're getting a line pump and we're gonna treat this like regular concrete. No, you cannot. It is a nightmare. It is a nightmare for the driver. It is a nightmare for the operator. It is a nightmare for the fucking finisher. It is a finicky fucking mix. The shit is like chalk. It sucks up water like that. And it tightens up just like that. So just beware. You know, thinking, oh yeah, we'll line pump it. You better hire somebody who knows how to finish that shit. Don't be calling your neighbor down the road who's like, oh yeah, I know how to finish concrete. Yeah, line pump is completely different than fucking regular 3500 fucking small stone mix. Completely different. It acts different, it slumps different, it moves different. It behaves different, it sets up different. I'm telling you. Heed my warning. Anyway, we had ass clowns. They were fussing. The grout mix hadn't even gotten to the top. They were complaining it was too wet. The grout mix hasn't even got out of the fucking hoses yet. Your prime out hasn't even gotten out yet. They didn't know what they were doing. It took me over an hour to get empty on that job. That's why I didn't get back until 3 yesterday. Messing with them. Not to mention the address. I'm like, why? So I messaged the batch guy. I was like, put this down. Tell whoever's going out there to type this into the GPS. And I was like, this will take them right to the job. That address is a mile past the job. Oh. He goes, what's that? I said, Dixon Creek Farm. I said, it's a llama farm. They have fucking alpacas and shit. And dogs. Chickens. Yeah, they do llama yoga. It's fuck. I used to work with this guy. His wife is awesome. But, you know, anyway, they got animals. So, yeah, they're right up the road from where we were pouring. He had me on the other side of the damn state. I was like, what are you doing? You're on the other side. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of gathering that. Seeing I've gone around in circles twice. And I have not found this job. Oh, you got to be on the other side of 25. I was like, why do I have this, like, spidey sense that it's down by Dixon Creek Farm? It was literally a mile away. Anyway, yeah, it took me 40 minutes to get there. I was like, Jesus, the long way. This is more than the long way. I'm backtracking. So I left there, went back, got washed out, got sprayed down, washed the truck, whatever. Yeah, dispatch wants me in early in the morning, so 4:30 or something. I'll be heading up north to do the bridge. Hopefully he doesn't send me back out to Dixon Creek. I hate that road. I really fucking hate that road. Anyway, on the motorcycle is fun. In a mixer, ain't so fun. It's all fucking uphill. Not fun. What else happened earlier? Oh, this guy we work with, he's such an idiot. He called up, can you turn the acid on so I can put some in my bucket? You're not supposed to have acid on your truck in a bucket. And I'm sitting there like, where the fuck is that memo? Because I keep 5 gallons of fucking straight ass acid out of the tote. Every time I spray my truck down, I stick the wand in there. I'm going to top that motherfucker off. And then I have a sprayer. So I transfer what's in the bucket to a sprayer. And when I need to, when it is bad, like the front end of my fucking truck looks like concrete howdy doody. Yeah, we hitting it. I don't care if I have to pull over into a fucking store parking lot. If it's that bad, yeah, that sprayer comes in fucking handy. My brush never gets dipped into my acid, ever. I spray with the hose, I spray with my little sprayer with acid, and then I brush. But, yeah. Anyway, this guy is a complete flake, and he just set the fucking batch guy off, who is kind of a Nazi, and he has a lock on the cleaner. No wonder their trucks look nasty all the time. That's why they always come over to our plant. Whore up on our shit. Because that guy won't let him use it. Like he's paying the bill. What's the deal, dude? So anyway, yeah, it's been a weird day, weird 2 days actually, but yeah, everything's going great. My GLP-1, I had to up the dose on Saturday, so first month was 0.25, second month was 0.50, and my third month I just started, and my second shipment should be coming in around the 24th of August. And this 1.0, I don't know if anybody else has had this problem, but I know I have this problem. Every time I up my dose, the first 2 days of that first week, I am like comatose. I don't know what it does. I have absolutely no idea what metabolic or chemical conflict is going on with my body that all I want to do is sleep. It's like I go into full-blown ADD mode. I'm in a good mood. I mean, I'm not sitting there feeling all guilty and shit for not getting anything done. It just, I'm like, it is what it is. I'm fucking tired. I'm gonna go hang out in my bedroom, and if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. If I don't, I don't. I'm gonna hang out and play games and procrastinate. Yeah, every single time that's happened. The only time it hasn't happened is when I went up to New York. But as soon as I got home, after riding all that time, I was like, yeah. We vegging. So, this week I go out to Idaho. I'm probably going to take the bike. So, y'all, just say a prayer. I would love to have the Insta360. I think that would be really great. A friend of mine up in New York, he's got one on a selfie stick mounted to his bike, and he's been playing around with it, and yeah, that thing's pretty cool. I kind of like it, so yeah, I think I might get one. I kind of need to reconfigure some shit on my handlebars. It's starting to get a little crowded up there. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, he had it out on the ride for our buddy too, but I hadn't seen any of the footage. Yeah, I don't know. He's like, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass pulling all the footage off. I was like, yeah, I find that, you know, when I'm like recording for my job and stuff like that. He's like, yeah. I was like, because I got that YouTube channel. He goes, yeah, dude was telling me that you've got that. I said, so sometimes it's just, I don't want to run it all day long, and when you're on a bike, you're recording to record, right? And if you can control it from your phone, you're all right. But if it's just kind of like one of, you know, dash cam type of things where it's constantly on a loop, yeah, finding your footage after a fucking hour, it's like, are we there yet? Yeah. Boring. You're fast forwarding through it. You're trying to find something that looks, yeah. Totally get it. So, anyway, yeah. But that's all we got, yeah. Yep, the one guy set the other batch guy off. But I sat there thinking, you know what? My batch guy, he sucks. He's fucking awful. But I said every truck in this fleet should have a bucket and a brush on it. He's like, I agree. I said, and I recall, like, this guy saying, yeah, you're not allowed to have that. And I'm sitting there thinking, who the fuck said that? I remember saying, okay, how am I supposed to get my cleaner from that tote into a bucket so I can wash my windows and stuff? While I'm, like, out and about. I get to a job and it fucking blows up on me and my windshield's all fuckered up. I'm gonna need cleaner to get that shit off. He's like, just take the wand and stick it in a bucket. Fill it up. Every time you go to wash your truck, top off your bucket. And that came from the management. So, I don't know where this damn batch guy is sitting there saying, we can't have bucket with fucking cleaner in it. I think he's just blowing smoke out of his ass and trying to sound important. I don't know what the fucking guy's deal is. Anyway, I'm gonna get one more. Hit the bathtub. Yeah. You remember that, Gonzo from the Muppets? There are times where I have that one saying from him in my head. I'm listening to the radio all day long, and I'm sitting there thinking, you are all weirdos. You all need help. This guy doesn't realize that he's going to set off the fucking volcano by asking a simple question, which wasn't even that demanding. He's like, I just need a little bit so I can do my glass. Dude went, and I was like, oh my God, someone throw a tampon at him. He's obviously on the rag. Fuck. I just sat there just staring at the windshield, just like, oh God, has he not learned? You don't ask permission. You beg forgiveness. You catch somebody doing their vehicle, and you spin up next to them and be like, hey, take the wand, fill my bucket. Skate the fuck out of there. That's how you do it. We got tricks at our plant that nobody knows about. And I'll never tell. Dude that just got let go, he's like, you are a fucking genius. I said, no. I have been taught. He's, by who? I said, guys up north. He's like, you're kidding. I was like, yeah. They showed me this. He's like, you're kidding. I'm like, no. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It applies in this field of work. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Peace.